Hello. Hi guys, how are you doing? Okay, so now we are here to talk about our final principle in solid principles. We already talked about 4 principles. Before I move forward, jump into this discussion. So if you see, I'm keeping things very simple, very straightforward, taking one scenario and trying to show you the code, trying to talk about only the principle via code, right? Not via pictures, though that can help, right? But here, so one request I am having, when you are reading about one principle, just try to focus on that. Once you will do that, organically you will see, you will be able to master these principles, and you will be able to use them when you are really coding. But when you are reading one and then you think of other scenarios at the same time, without mastering this one, you might end up tangle yourself in multiple things and then ultimately give up, right? So just keep things simple, focus on one principle at a time, and just continue in the journey. Just put your efforts, and ultimately you'll see it 20%, just 20% of your effort will give you results. Okay, so now let's jump into our last principle in solid principle, which is our dependency inversion principle. Okay, so my screen is shared with you. So here this scenario actually which I took for this one is I'm sure this kind of code you are seeing in your projects, whichever you are working on. So I tried to create a similar scenario which we are coding in daily basis, right? Not just the scenario but the code. So here is a definition, official definition of what dependency inversion principle is. So it is actually saying 2 points. One is high level modules should not depend on low level modules. Both should depend on abstraction. Second point, abstraction should not depend on details. Details should depend on abstraction. Little bit cryptic, right? I know. I tried to simplify it, though this is also been said in multiple places, multiple books, right? People already try to simplify it in this way. High level component should not be dependent on low level component. That's it. What does that mean? It sounds cryptic, but it is not. Okay, so first let's talk about a scenario. I didn't stated it here, so let me just state the scenario. Think of that you want you have a list of products, right? Stored somewhere, maybe in an you are using Amazon API, or you having a database of products, and you want your client, whoever is the client, to ask manager that give me list of products. Your manager will ask the service that give me list of products, and service will either connect with an external API or with a database and will give you the data, right? So if that is the scenario, now how we can do it, how we can achieve something like this. So first I will show you an obvious way how we can code it, which might work, but then what is wrong with that? I'm again calling it a bad way. Okay, so in this one, in bad way, think of, so we talked about that we have product, manager, and then ultimately a client who is using it. So we have a product, so you can call it a model or an entity, right? So which is having simple some fields, name, price, color, ID, etc. So I took the simplest one here. Now if you want a service which will call either a external API or DB, so you will create a service, and service will have a simple method called get products, right? And ultimately it will fetch the data from whatever source we are having, and it will return that, right? So now how manager will access a service? Sorry about this. So what manager will do is, let me close this. Okay, what manager will do is basically whoever is using this manager, they are supposed to send the instance of a service rather than manager create it, or in a real scenario we'll have factories and all, but keep it simple for now. So basically manager is having a reference of a concrete service class, and then whenever somebody is calling get products of manager, so manager is calling service get products and returning the result, right? And obviously handling will be there, error handling and all things will be there. Now how a client normally use this? Simply they will basically have a project manager object, and then they will to that project manager object they supposed to pass service. Normally these things we do via factory and all, right? But if we are creating it in a simplest way and calling project manager dot get products, we are done. We are actually getting our results. Now what exactly is happening here? When we said that our high level module should not depend on our low level module, what is happening here is our project is a high level module, right? Whatever is basically on above level which is calling is high level, and then it is calling low level details. So this high level is actually dependent on this service, this low level module. Service is a low level module here. So until you will pass this product service as a product service only, this will not work. What does that mean? Now let's suppose I want to create a mock data. So when I'm doing a testing, actually I will not call my DB or external API because of different reasons. I want to have a service which can give me mock data, right? So if you want to do that, here you cannot basically use it. If you have to, what you will do is you will create another constructor, right, which is called product manager constructor, where you will pass the mock service, right? So that way you will actually ultimately which is only for testing but not the real scenario. So hence you are end up you are messing up with the code just to do things which you want. You are actually not following any standard and patterns here, right? This will also this will work for the time being, but in real project, in a big project, you will end up creating a lot of messy code here. Now as per our principle, how we should have done it. So principle said that rather than a high level module depend on a low level module, introduce an abstraction in between, right? And that abstraction also should not depend on the details, right? So here for abstraction we will obviously take interfaces. And one more thing which is not stated very clearly here when we talk about high level module, obviously ultimately somewhere you need to pass concrete classes, right? Concrete class which is here a product service is a concrete class. Somewhere you have to pass them, right? But when this particular principle talk about abstract classes, so wherever you are having abstract classes, try to pass try to have abstraction in between rather than passing that concrete instance of it. Okay, so now how we can do it? So for that we have created this another DIP principle, I'm calling it, this class, which is very similar to the other one, having same product, right, having same my product service. But what I did is created an abstraction in between. What is this abstraction? So created a simple interface, right, which is having this this function which my client is going to use this function only. That is what this guy want, right, the manager. So here actually I have created two services. One is my mock product service and one is my real service. Both are inheriting this interface, implementing this interface, right? So here again it will write its implementation, whether getting it from data or database or an external API, and ultimately will return the data. whereas my mock service will create some mock data and will return that mock data, right? These things are straightforward. Now here, in place of using that concrete class, we are actually just using an abstraction, right? So in place of product service, we are dependent on an abstraction now, product service. So whoever is going to use this product manager, they will pass a type of product service, right? So now client can easily, if they want to use a mock, if they want to test with mock data, they will pass mock data service. If it is running in a prod mode, then they will use the real services. Now this is straightforward. So this is what this principle is trying to state, that your high level module should not depend on low level module, but an abstraction in between, and this is what that abstraction is, right? Okay, so I think, yeah, that's it about this principle. The code is available. I will give you the GitHub link in the description section. Download the code, play with it, create your own scenario, paste your link here. If you have any questions, I'll try to see that code and will reply for sure. So yeah, we are actually done with all the solid principles, and now we'll move towards the real design patterns. Okay, hope to see you in next video. Thank you very much, guys. Take care. Bye bye.